Premiers. We are premiers for the 16th time. Oh my God. Let's get into it. That still doesn't feel real. It still doesn't feel real. I've been pinching myself all day yesterday, all day today. That was probably the best. Look, unbiasedly, I think that was one of the best grand finals. If not, it probably stacks up in the top 5 grand finals. The 2018 grand final was good if you were a sort of neutral supporter. 14 and 15 from memory, the Sydney and West Coast ones were both good. But this has to be top 5. It was just ebbing and flowing all the way through this game. And, you know, it took some heroics right at the end. Scott Pendlebury had a blinder right at the end. That steel side bottom goal from 55 metres out. Jordan De Goey, Tom Mitchell, we are premiers. Everything that we've worked for the last, 2 years with Craig McCrae has paid dividends. At the end of 2021, Buckley leaves throughout the year, Robert Harvey leaves, and, the board goes into a bit of disarray, and we start absolutely fresh. We have a salary cap dump, and all that jazz sort of happens, right? Craig McCrae comes in, and we were 17th on the ladder as well. We were second last on the ladder. Craig McCrae comes in, and there's this whole new aura about the Collingwood Football Club. And, it's not just Craig, it's Lepich, it's Bolton, Skipworth, Selwood, Jared Wade, the high-performance manager as well. What he's been able to do, with the boys has been second to none. Jeff Brown and his board, as much as I was opposed to sort of Jeff Brown, I am just a big believer in what he's been able to do, able to achieve. Graham Wright, our signings, the list goes on. And 2 years of that culminated into a couple of hours at the MCG on the hottest day in recent sort of months. It was 29 or 30 degrees or something like that. It was a scorcher, and the Pies played scintillating hot pies football. This grand final, we kicked the first 2 goals, and I was like, we're on here. Brisbane look a little bit rattled. I don't know if it's that sort of MCG hoodoo or anything sort of like that. Then they sort of kicked back. Then Jordan De Goey kicked one on or after the siren at the end of the first quarter. And then we're up and about. And, I got to give props to the Brisbane fans as well. They were so loud. We were louder, I feel like, anyway, from where I was sitting. But the Brisbane fans were very loud. Their Lions chants, their Brisbane chant. Whenever Charlie Cameron scored a goal, all of them would sing Country Road, Take Me Home. They created an insane atmosphere for an away game for them, really. And it was, props to their fans. It was incredible. And this grand final didn't fail to deliver on a spectacle. I think I read that it broke TV records for grand finals. It was 100,024 people in the house, a full house, packed to the rafters. Last year's Geelong and Sydney grand final, obviously Geelong won by 80 points or something. So Geelong supporters and the Geelong, team and stuff had the privilege of sitting down and knowing that they had a grand final win, in the second or third quarter. We fought right to the end. We didn't know until, 30 seconds left, if that, a minute 30 after Danaher snapped that goal. And this one is one that I'll personally savour for a long time. Being at the grand final with my dad, who, we're both Legends members, and for the last 2 years we've gone to nearly every single game together in Melbourne that we could. We travelled to Sydney last year as well. So that was really, really special. And, it's for us as much as it is for the players that were out there. If you saw my video a couple of days ago, there's a lot of storylines going into this grand final. Oleg Markov is a premiership player. Mason Cox, Billy Frampton, Jack Ginnivan, all premiership players. Bobby Hill wins the Norm Smith career best 4 goals. I think I read somewhere, I think it was Sir Swamp Thing on Twitter, said that 4 goals before halftime in a grand final has only been achieved once, and that was Bobby Hill's performance. Then obviously he gave that one off to Pendles in the third quarter, towards the end of that third quarter. There was so much to love about this game. So much to dislike as well. We just really couldn't put the Lions away, and bad kicking is bad football. And I don't have the stats on me. I think we kicked, 12-18 or 12-19 or something like that. We ridiculous amount of misses. Goals that we probably would have gotten any other day. We probably should have won by 30 or so points if we had kicked straighter, but this just made the spectacle even more spectacular. 4 points. And I think, didn't we lose to West Coast in 2018 by 4 points? And now someone tweeted, or X, whatever you want to call it, that Dom Sheed won't haunt their memories anymore. This sort of grand final win wipes that away. And I think it does, we can sort of compartmentalise that grand final for what it was with Buckley and with that crew. And this is the new era. This is Fly's Pies. These are Fly's Pies now. And it was just a sight to behold. Speaking of Fly as well, him and his wife, gave birth to a little girl at 7:45 in the morning, and they named her Maggie for the Magpies. And then he goes on to win a premiership, with this club. And what Fly has done for this team, the fans, the long-time suffering supporters, the new supporters. He's given us faith again, and meaning and purpose when we really didn't have any. And I don't know him personally, but I feel like he wouldn't take that sort of credit as well. And, like I said at the start of the video, it's not just him, it's sort of everyone around him as well. But he has led that charge. And I found myself crying so many times yesterday on the final siren. Standing, I walked to the front of level 4, on the balcony, or not balcony, on the railings, and sort of, looked out on the ground while the streamers and stuff were going off, and cried again. And it was like a huge weight was lifted off our shoulders. And, it's a huge weight for not being just because it's 13 years since our last premiership, but it was all the media, all the opposition fans. Last year was a fluke. They're king of close finishes, but they were fluking it. They're not going to make the top 8. They're not going to make the top 4. They're not going to repeat. We finished minor premiers. We were the best team all throughout the year, and we end the year as premiers. Next year on the jerseys, we get a gold AFL logo as premiers. And it's so beautiful. Like, the other day, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I went to the Collingwood Museum and I saw all the trophies, and I was just in awe. I cried there as well, I think. And there was a nice little spot under the 2010 Cup for this cup, the 2023 Cup, Flyers Cup. And I'll just never, ever, ever forget it. I'll never, ever, ever forget it. And it does make up for all the heartbreak. And, we're Collingwood supporters, we've experienced so many heartbreaks, 27 losing grand finals, and now we're 16 wins. We're even with Essendon, we're even with Carlton, so they can't hang that over our heads anymore. And we are in a great position as a football club. The game itself, though, like I said, it ebbed and flowed a lot. There were a lot of standouts for the Pies. To go with Mitchell, Mitchell came in to do what he came in to do, a contested beast. I think he laid 13 or something tackles, 11 contested possessions, bunch of score involvements. He did what he needed to do. And last year we lost Taylor Adams in that qualifying final against Geelong. We lose the Sydney game because we don't have that contested beast. Mitchell and Adams, come back into the side now. We lose Adams again, unfortunately. And Mitchell carries that huge weight. And he did it so well. In 2016, he was a part of the Sydney side that lost to the Doggies. And obviously didn't do anything, play finals or anything at Hawthorn. And he comes to Collingwood, open arms. He's saying that he's the happiest he's ever been, and he's a premiership player now. Billy Frampton picked him out of nowhere, from Adelaide, from the Sandful. And he's had an okay sort of season. And then, he comes into this side after Dan McStay gets injured and plays a defensive forward role on Harris Andrews. Could have clunked a few marks, yes, of course. Didn't kick any goals, but he really tailed Harris Andrews up, and that was the main reason we got him on. I think he had, 2 touches, but he's a premiership player. That's it. He goes down in Collingwood history as a premiership player, and Harris Andrews didn't really do much. I think in the last quarter, if memory serves correct, because my memory is shot right now. Harris Andrews did clunk a couple of marks or whatever it was, but I think Billy Frampton did his job really, really well. Nick Dacos, another one, just kicked the opening goal. Josh Dacos, still side bottom. I know I mentioned him a bit earlier, but Steele and Pendles are now dual premiership players for Collingwood, and that hasn't happened since the 50s. This club is special. This team is special, and Fly always says playing the minutes, and we played the minutes so well. There were times where we were down by 3 goals or so, and we just kept coming back. You saw it against Melbourne. You saw it against GWS as well. We kept clawing back, kicking 2 goals after the siren in the first and second quarter. After Brisbane kicked 6 in that second quarter. Brisbane, props to them as well. They absolutely came out to play. Obviously, it's a grand final. You're always going to come out to play in a grand final. But they were incredible. The best 2 teams in the whole competition all season showed why they are where they are. They were in a grand final, and only 4 points separated them. It was a grand final for the ages. And, I'll watch the replay again and again and again, and I'll watch the highlights, and seeing Darcy Moore as captain, and a first-year captain, and winning the Premiership Cup as captain, and his dad hands it over to him. What a special, special moment. And his speech, and Braden Maynard, it's just, I could go on, and maybe I'll do like another video about rating play. I don't know, but all these players need their own sort of 5 minutes, because everyone played their role so well. It's about playing their role, and it's about playing the minutes, and everyone did it so well. And yesterday was the best day of my entire life. This surpasses the 2010 grand final. It surpasses that win. I know, we had Swanee and Benny Johnson, Alan Didak, Heath Shaw, Cloak. It was a really good team, but this, for some reason, and maybe I'll find the words later, but this feels so much more like, I don't know, maybe because I feel more connected with the club now in the last couple of years since Fly came around. We're all the 19th man, and it was absolutely, it just meant so much to all of us, and we're premiers. Absolutely soak it in. The amount of, people that after the game came up and hugged me for the last 2 days, high-fived, and, seeing everyone smiling and laughing and crying. You're going down Smith Street, Swan Street, Collingwood flags everywhere, horns blazing, people just celebrating. Euphoria. It's a euphoric feeling, and one that hopefully we get to experience again and again and again, because it really just filled your heart up. It really just filled your heart up. There will be, and I've copped it these last 24 hours, there will be opposition supporters and stuff who try to tell you how to celebrate, or whatever that may be. And, I let it get to me a little bit, obviously. But you celebrate however the fuck you want to celebrate, If that means putting your phone away and being with your own thoughts and watching the replay 100 times, celebrate like that. If that means calling up every single contact on your contact list, do that as well. If that means talking to a camera and putting it on the internet, do that as well. If it means tweeting 1,000,000 times, because that's just what you do, everything is the perfect way to celebrate if that's what you do, right? and they can't take this one away from us. They cannot take this Premiership Cup and this Premiership and this feeling away from us, no matter what they say. Because at the end of the day, 17 other clubs and a trillion other supporters want to be in our position right now. They want to feel this high because their team couldn't make it. Their team wasn't good enough this year to make it, and we did. The club everyone hates the most made the grand final and won the Premiership, and they freaking hate it. And that's it. Like, that's just what they're going to do. And it's, oh man, it's a good feeling knowing that we got that Premiership to sort of back it up, and they just can't take it away from us. But look, there's going to be a couple more videos coming out shortly, swooping around, which was insane. I did a little bit of a vlog as well. I don't know how good it is because it was just a crazy game. I'll do a season review, another sort of pump up sort of video for the season. It's just soak it in. Go get the merch. Go celebrate how you want to celebrate. Wear your jumpers to school. Tell them Swoop Luke said you can wear your scarves and Collingwood jerseys to school and to work and stuff. And if they have a problem, come and see me. But enjoy it, soak it in. If you're a young person and you're watching this, don't do what I did in 2010 and not soak it in. You need to enjoy every single bit of this. And with the age of social media now, you're always going to enjoy it. So, yeah, just watch the replay, watch the highlights, consume every little bit of content you can. I promise you won't get sick of it because this club is here to stay and we're here to stay. But let me know your thoughts down below. How did you see the grand final? How do you feel? Let me know how you feel. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll see you later.